All right, we'll get this meeting started. To be honest with you, I got nothing. I got nothing. We can have a quick roundup. Simone will give you a quick follow-up on the AEVA Expo. For those that don't know, the AEVA Expo this year is in Sydney at the Sydney Olympic Showgrounds, or whatever it's called. It's a pretty big venue. In actual fact, it's 5,000 square feet, where we had 2,000 square feet. So we have about half an acre in November. They've got a bit over an acre. So it's a huge area. But anyway, I'll let Simone tell you more about it, because I keep shooting my mouth off. There's nothing left for her to say. We've got Lawrence here from the Tesla fan club, the Tesla owners. So now, yeah, but you were originally with the Tesla owners fan club, yeah, but now you're here representing TOCA, which is Tesla Owners Club of Australia, correct? Yeah, okay, so he'll have a bit of a chat about the Queensland chapter that's officially started. And we're going to have a bit of a, John's going to have a quick chat about the EV cruise that's on this Saturday. There's still room for more people if you want to get along, and he'll explain to you. We've come up with a secondary route, or he's come up with a secondary route, so there's a bit of a shortcut for those that may not have the range. I was meant to go, but I forgot I'd double booked, and I'll be out at Willow Bank drag racing for the weekend. So
using petrol?
Yeah, lots of petrol. It'll stink, trust me, and I'll be laughing. Yeah, well, beat me later. So that's really about it. I was hoping that some people might have some bills or some progress on their bills they might want to have a little bit of a chat about. Is David here? David from the community group? No? Okay, he was supposed to be talking tonight, so he's obviously running a little late. He runs a community group where there's community housing, I suppose, the best way to talk about it. And part of the whole build is that they wanted to have an electric van so that the residents and the people running this particular community living space could have an electric van to go to and from, pick up groceries, drop people off and that sort of thing. And I think what I think was sort of the hope was that our branch would not help with money, but help with, maybe advice, a bit of hands-on, and help get this project going for them at a reduced price. They're doing everything out of their back pocket. Right, so I'll start with Simone, shall I?
Sure.
You ready?
Yeah. It's a bit hard because
You really get the volume on.
it's as loud as it will be. It's through the little speakers, yeah. I don't have a... So basically, for anyone that doesn't know, this was a footage from our last year's expo. Yes, they're turned on. Not that silly. Yeah. So this was footage from our last year's expo, just showcasing, you might spot some people that you recognise in cars. Yeah, so John actually put this video together. John up there. Hello, John. And he's pretty clever doing that, so that was well done. We had a lot of different cars and bikes and scooters and boat motors as well. And it was a really, really good couple of days. And so we're hoping that Sydney's going to be bigger and better. We will have talks as well as our expo, but we're actually going to, like on the Saturday, we're actually going to have it in the same space but sort of cordoned off. So you'll be able to have some, be able to listen as well as you can in that loud space that we're going to have. So, if you do have time to come down to Sydney, flights are pretty inexpensive. So, come on down. There are some hotels and motels around that space. There's a lot going on that weekend though. So you've got Metallica actually playing that weekend. You've got the boat show. You've got the man show. You've got the home show. You've got like a whole heap of things on because they do have a lot of halls there. So we're actually coordinating, we think at the moment, with the home show to sort of join in a little bit with them. So yeah, lots happening as far as that is concerned. Now, still negotiating spaces. A lot of the spaces are 8 by 8, so they're huge. So they will actually fit 2 cars, probably 3 scooters if somebody's got scooters. So they're really big spaces for the larger sponsors. The smaller spaces are for the bikes, so they're actually going to be lined up next to the bike riding trial area. So we're going to have that inside the hall, which now, we didn't have that last year. We weren't able to offer rides or drives or anything like that. So that's really exciting that we can do both of that and have it so that the pickup is inside for the cars and that the bikes are inside. So if it rains, it doesn't matter, which is really, really good. So I don't know, October in Sydney could still be raining. I don't know. It's that funny time of year where it could also be quite cold. So at the moment, the confirmed ones are probably right now Rev Bikes, who were at our show as well as the Melbourne Renew show. The other one is a charging, I think it's, anyway, there's a charging confirmed, so they're paid. We're negotiating with about 10 different people. So, but until they pay us the money, the hard-earned money, we can't say yes or no, they'll be there. At the moment, we're negotiating with Nissan and Hyundai and Charge Fox as well, who want to set up with Nissan because they're working together anyway. So they're trying to do a stall together to show also back to the house charging, I think, which is what that Nissan is now capable of. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. But it's really hard to say what we've got because it's until I see the money in the account. You know, it happened last year where people were going, yeah, we'll be there, and then didn't pay. Or just paid like on the 12th hour, like it was just ridiculously crazy. So, but things will be updated on the website. It's a little bit slow at the moment because the guy who does the IT, you know, as we all know, we all work as well. So. But we're doing our best to keep on top of it, and just anyone new that we see, like today I saw, and I'll show you another film clip maybe at the end, E-Rocket. They're like a bike hybrid, and they just zoom real fast. They're probably not going to be legal in Australia because they seem to go very, very fast. But yeah, I'm trying different things that we haven't seen here before to try and get them to our show. Exciting news is that there'll probably be a couple of unveils at our show, which, you know, like launches. So that will be really good. We also, I talked to David at DGP now. They didn't have a car last year. They pretty much had a store, but they're actually going to have a car and a van to display, as long as he pays his money. So that will be really exciting because that's really starting to filter through now. A lot of the EV vendors, I think, have been doing work for a lot of years to try and get their product here, especially when it's like a car. And so it's really exciting to see things come to fruition. There's another vendor that hopefully by now is paid, and they were doing scooters, but they're actually going to be bringing in a kind of a motorbike. So you're going to have your motorbike licence. It goes 100k an hour, looks like a motorbike, and since the Zero doesn't come in anymore, that's, you know, unless it's a specially built bike, as far as I know, that will be a motorbike that's electric, because I don't think there's one in at the moment that's like readily available. So very exciting things happening, very exciting things will be seen at the expo. So do come if you can. It's over 2 days, but you could just come one day if you wanted to. I mean, the same exhibitors will be at both days, just probably different speeches like we had at our show. If you're worried about accommodation, I mean, there's always like things like Airbnb available as well. There's a few places that are not right near Sydney Showground. If you want to talk to me, I can sort of point you in the right direction, depending on what you're happy, you know, staying at. There's probably a caravan park somewhere if you want to go that far. So exciting things are things like Trevor, who was at our show and had the 3-wheeler purple thing that he had. I think it's called the T-Rev or something. T-Rex. So he's actually going to tow that all the way from his house, north of Mackay, to Sydney. So he may actually win the trophy again. So there's a trophy for the person that goes the furthest on a set battery. So there's a formula for it. Graham.
Okay. So, and there may be a good chance that Glenn George will drive.
Do you want me to talk? So, when I was talking to Trevor, he knows Glenn George very well. Now, Glenn George is the guy who the trophy was named after. Glenn George tried to do a World Guinness Book of Records around Australia in a car that he'd made. What is it, an MG?
MG TD, yeah.
TD. Beautiful blue car. Had a trailer, so he extended his range slightly. But probably not hugely, maybe 200k, I think it was, at the 250. So obviously had to plot his spots all around Australia. Not sure exactly what happened. I think there was a technicality because he had to have things signed. I'm not sure whether he made it into the book, but the fact was he went around Australia in this quite a small pack. It's something that, people go, but how far can I go? We all know this. Like people who drive electric cars, we get this question all the time. How far does it go? Well, 100k, and they go, oh, I need more. Well, Glenn George kind of proved that you didn't really if you planned ahead. Probably took a long time to travel around Australia, but he did it. So the trophy was first presented in Tasmania to Sally, who drove from Melbourne to Devonport in her AEVA.
Adelaide.
Oh, I'm sorry, Adelaide to Devonport. That's even better. So she won it the first time round. The second time was in Brisbane. Trevor won that one. He may win it. If Glenn George drives all the way, he may actually win his own trophy back. So you never know, because his actual range, because he's driven his car so much, has reduced slightly. So we'll see. Exciting things. There's formulas that I don't know enough about, but there's somebody that's smarter than me that does the formula and puts it in a spreadsheet and works it out. So, and I'm sure we'll announce it at the expo, and we'll announce it on the website as well. But that would be really cool if Glenn George won his own trophy back. So, though I think Trevor's going to give him a good run for his money. Other than that, I guess if you want to be involved, let me know. I'm happy for people to make some phone calls. If you want to volunteer on the day, that would be great. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening, including our AGM on the Sunday. So lots of people need it to man store, especially like the AVA store. We're probably going to have the Renew store, so there'll be a Renew person. There's lots happening. So if you feel like you want to come to Sydney, or you're going to definitely come and you want to help out, even if it's for an hour, like we don't need you 2 days in a row, but just for an hour or two, that would be really awesome. Other than that, I do want to do one more thing. Keiko, would you be happy being a model, please? So I revamped the shirts a little bit. Yeah, that would be great. And Keiko's got hers on. So they're basically the same. It's the Brisbane logo for the AVA like we had. And then I've actually put Australian Electric Vehicle Association on the other side, because looking at the logo, people go, don't know what that is. And then the stitching lady said to me, why don't you put the website on the back? And I went, oh, what a great idea. Probably cost me a bit more, but anyway. So if you guys want a shirt done, let me know. They probably, depending on what shirt you buy. So you can buy a shirt or I can buy a shirt. These shirts were like about $7, but the actual stitching, all of that is about $22. So that's what the expensive part is. However, obviously, if I have 50 done, it's probably a better price. But
even jumper.
Even jumpers, yes. So Keiko brought me a jumper to do. So you can bring a jumper or a long sleeve shirt or a green shirt or a blue shirt. If you have a favourite shirt that you like wearing, that's fine. I like these, hence why I have a work shirt, because I think they're really comfy. They breathe, but couldn't find one in Keiko's size because she's very petite. So, yeah. So feel free to come and see me if you want a shirt organised, or if you want to bring me a shirt, we can certainly organise that for you.
Extra small one, isn't it?
That's a small. So this one is currently available for sale, correct. This could be yours if the price is right. Yeah. Thank you. Now there's still lots of pens, so if you want to take a pen home, feel free to do that. If you have a charger or a power point at your house that you're allowing people to charge at, or you want to put yourself onto PlugShare, feel free to grab a sign. We've got those signs available for you. If you know someone that's providing charging, or maybe in Toowoomba, you can take a couple with you. and get them put up so that we can see, where the charging is. So that'd be good. Other than that, maybe we can just, there's a few new faces that if they feel comfortable letting us know who they are and why they're here, that would be really awesome. Would you like to start? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll get you to hold this one.
Okay,
because that goes back to the camera.
Oh, nice. Thanks. G'day, I'm Mitch from DC Electrical. We're licensed electricians. We've got CEC accreditation for solar battery, all that good stuff. Biggest install we've done so far is probably 200 kilowatts, commercial solar. We look after a lot of commercial installations. We are Schneider warranty agents. So we look after the Schneider EV charging stations. Recently, we're talking to Mercedes-Benz about being an installer for their charging stations, which includes Porsche, Lamborghini, most of what you see down the road here, which is AP Eagers, Jaguar, all that sort of stuff. We also do EVSE, which is a website you can go to if you want any accessories or charging stations. We do a lot of their stuff as well. We're basically going to be the local installer for them at home and commercial scale. We've got quite a few projects at the moment on the go to get a lot more chargers in, and it's looking like we may very soon have a deal. When you build a new home, it'll be an option on the build. Any queries, let me know. As far as I'm concerned, if you're EVSA, come and see me and I'll get you a wholesale price on a charger. So that's what we're here for. We look after the guys who've been pushing it all along, and we'll get the commercial contracts so we can get it cheaper. Those guys who want that little van, give them that. I'll look after them on a charger and the install.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're licensed electricians as well, so we can do all the work that goes into it. Basically, we've just signed up as a corporate member, so you got to get some money off me later too. Don't let me go. So yeah, we're getting right into it. We've been pushing it internally for probably 3 to 4 months now, just getting all the back end stuff going so that we can actually have products in Brisbane that we can start to roll out. Personally, I've so far installed probably 5 or 6 locally, being a lot the Tesla chargers, and serviced a lot of home installations. So the main thing I would say to anybody who's going to do a home installation, get the right safety switch for your power, because that is a big one that I've found. It's called an arc fault digital detection breaker. It's a little bit more expensive, but it'll save your car and it'll save your life and it'll save everything else in between. So that's what we push as a standard. It's going to be a standard in Europe. I think it already is. If you want any paperwork on it, let me know, or just type in arc fault AFDD into YouTube and it'll show you all about it. So cool. Just thought I'd introduce myself. Formerly, I was formerly an underground field service engineer for Caterpillar Mining, and now I'm a dual trade as an electrician and a fitter. So you got any questions, come and see us.
You could probably build a car in your sleep.
Yeah, but I got a wife, so no chance. Anyway.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else want to say anything or talk about their builds, or do you want to come up? Is that all right? I'll give you the Muppet.
I don't think it's working.
This one works with the camera.
Oh, the camera.
Yeah. You can also have the speaker if
It's all
it's
good.
better.
G'day, my name's Wayne. I'm planning an EV conversion. I've got an RX-8 that is now off the road and waiting for beautiful EV parts to go in it. I'm looking for advice on mod plates and things like that, because I want to do like a performance conversion, and I would like to be able to actually get it complied and drive it on the road. That's me.
Cool.
I'm an electronic engineer.
I'll get you the compliance guy that I've trained up. So
Yeah.
he'll do it for you.
Cool.
Cool. Now, one thing I forgot to mention,
Yeah.
if you're not already on our Gmail or our Google group, feel free to come and see me after and I'll add you straight on. It's just a way for us to keep in touch and talk about things, so it just makes it a bit easier, just for local stuff, I guess, yeah. Anyone else? Harold, you can stay where you are, but I'll give you this one as well. No. You got it?
Do it now.
Yeah, that's fine.
That better?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Try now.
If anybody is interested, my car is no longer my car. It's now in Newcastle. Quite different from Queensland's boasts about the best electric highway in Australia. New South Wales is much better, in my opinion. Every fast charger is owned by an RMA. It's free to members forever. It's free to the general public for the next 12 months. Everyone's got to sign on. And they've got about a 50-50 mixture of Type 1 and Type 2 chargers.
Excellent.
Going down to Newcastle last Thursday, I realised now, when I know that I can do it easily in the day, it's now gone down to from 700 miles to 712 kilometres, which is only 7 hours driving. So you need 3 stops. And I did 2 fast DC charge, 1 overnight, very low 10 amp circuit, and 1 Tesla fast AC charge. And it worked out very well. I'm not allowed to drive anymore, as you probably realise. I've now got an electric scooter.
Cool.
So
How fast do you go on your scooter?
you're not allowed to go over 10. I've just signed a thing I won't go over 10, but it will do about 18. It's a very expensive one. It came from Belgian design, but made in Israel.
So you're not going to hot it up
It's like,
legally?
no, you need to. It's rather lethal, so to speak. But the other thing is, I don't want to advertise thing, but the doctors have said I can't ride my moped anymore. The one with the car batteries in it. So if anybody wants it, it's available for best offer over $200. It has a spare motor wheel.
Cool.
The motor I melted all the magnets off the support brick, can be repaired because I've been running it on 48 volts instead of 36, which if you know what you're doing is very nice, but you've got to make sure you get decent speed before you switch it on. It makes a big difference going up hills. But it's there. There's a picture of it in my thing. I'll show you here. But if anybody wants it, just let me know. I might put it on net eventually, but don't want to be bothered.
No, that's all right. So yeah, if anyone wants, Harold said he's got a photo on his phone. So if you want to have a look at
there
it.
if you want to now. I knew what the whole thing was.
So for anyone that doesn't know, Harold's a life member, and he became a life member, last year, I think? Year before, was it? And we actually did an interview of him recently, so that is available on our AEVA website, forum. Yeah.
So if you go to the national website, www.aeva.asn.au, there's a section there where we're highlighting some of the achievers within Australian Electric Vehicle Association.
I'm selling it without the buttons. You can put that there, but leave.
I might just forward it.
A few years before the actual national body started, they started a branch of the AEVA in town.
What you done? Lost it.
I'm just gonna send it to my phone.
World War II days.
Well, you can put it on that screen.
I don't know how.
Just try and plug it in the one line.
To celebrate
Done it before. Jeff.
the achievement of Harold over the years.
I'm not smart like Liz.
So I reckon if you look at
Nice to
that
do.
space,
Yeah, I don't know how.
the other states have all thought, I've had emails from them, they said that's a great idea. They've got people that are overachievers within their own groups, and it looks like everybody's going to start getting video
I think
interviews of
we can just show it when
their
they're...
high achievers in each branch, which would be good.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Harold.
Oh, the place I stopped, first of all, down to where the lighthouse is.
Oh, about Byron Bay.
Byron Bay, that's a very good Type 1 charger. And it's in the library. It's a 20-mile detour off the road, 20 back again.
Yeah.
But it was no problem.
Yeah.
Overnight in Grafton, because I used to live in Grafton.
Yeah.
Did a bit of skiing around. And that was where a very old-fashioned camping ground with the 10-amp sockets.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had a 10-amp plug with me.
Better than nothing.
The following day, went down to Port Macquarie, where I ran up friends again. Then the Posh Hotel, then charged from a fast AC charger, courtesy of Tesla.
Yeah.
They have a net apps at the hotel, which is a very light thing. And the last charge, fast charge, using John Murray's converter, was at Nabiac. And we're in Newcastle by quarter to 12, sorry.
Excellent.
So I realised now you can do the thing quite easily in a day.
Yeah.
And you know where the things are.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wanted to go those two places anyway.
Yeah. That's good. Well done.
I wish I still had it.
Yeah. Is your daughter enjoying the car?
I hope so. It costs her a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. Thank you. Thanks, Harold. Okay, so the best part of the night usually is, or what I notice that you guys enjoy the most is cup of tea and so forth, but apparently Graham's got a...
No, I've got two other people to talk to.
Oh.
Yeah, and don't get the money in the tin. That's how we afford to have the hall and the nibbles. So
Oh, and...
$2 for members in the tin and $3 for non-members, and yeah, that helps pay for the hall hire.
So for those of you that haven't been here before, it used to be free for people who came in an electric car because there was only one or two people ever coming in an electric car. So we've kind of changed it to say just $2 for members. So because there's just too many of you. So do you want to come up next, Lawrence? So we'll grab Lawrence to have a chat about the Tolka. Here, and then just hold that as well.
This looks cute.
It's like a Muppet, right?
Yes. Yeah, my name is Lawrence Lowe. The TOCA Queensland stands for Tesla Owners Club Australia, and there's now a Queensland chapter. I don't know whether you know Mark Toloon. He's actually a AEVA member. He actually apologized. He can't make it tonight, but he sent me here to speak on behalf of him. Basically, we had a Tesla club in Australia actually organised a lot of activity down south in Victoria and New South Wales, but now we have a Queensland chapter where we actually will be organising 6 events throughout the year. You don't have to own a Tesla to be part of the TOCA Queensland group. In fact, it's a lot cheaper. It's only $20 instead of $50 if you're not a non-Tesla owner. And the partner can join for $2 per year. And you get, there's a brochure there, you can have a look. The first event we're having is actually this Saturday. For those who are not going to the EV cruise, can come and join. There's still 11 places on that venue. It's a licensed venue, so you can't BYO. So there is already 49 people booked. The venue can host 60 people. And Linda will be speaking there. She's the first lady who go around Australia solo in an electric car. Yeah, so she'll be sharing her experience, and it's her journey. It's quite good. Now, Model 3 is actually getting delivered next week, I believe. You can actually go and test drive Model 3. For those of you who don't know about Model 3, it is less than half the price of the current Model S. It's cheaper, it's got more features. It's incredible. And I'm hoping the Shanghai Gigafactory 3 will be up and running soon. So hopefully we can get the standard model into Australia, where the price will be like $50,000 to $60,000. That would be the iPhone moment of EV in this country. And that's really exciting. Yeah. But even the Model 3 now, it would triple the number of Tesla in Australia. I mean, we've got 3,550 Tesla at the moment in Australia, and my sources are telling me there's over 8,000, about 8,000 vehicles coming before from now to the end of the year. So that would be a game changer. Yeah. So anyway, you're invited to come to this event. You don't have to be a Toka member to come to the event this Saturday at Canungra Valley Vineyard. Yeah. Anyway. So is there anything else? Any questions?
So they've got the trip starts at the Canungra Vineyard or goes there?
We actually meet there, and there will be some talk. There will be a presentation and a talk by Linda on that day.
Right. Well, you send me a blurb. I'll share it on the...
Yeah, there's a brochure there. You can go on the website and you can book there. Yeah. There's still 11 places left. Yeah, yeah. And I think the bookings finishes tomorrow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good. If you want to know more about Tesla Model 3, you can,
Yeah.
I'm happy to answer that.
Tesla's got a great sales system.
I think we are all very passionate about it, and I think I've only been driving it for a year and a half, so I don't. And there's so much to learn, you know. Like when I got it, I didn't even know how to charge. I couldn't even pull the plug out. You know, I didn't know you have to unlock the car before you can actually pull the plug out. So the good thing about joining Toka is that there is actually a members. There's a list of members on there that you can actually connect with and get advice. There are actually Tesla owners that put their hand up and say, people can ask this question anytime and just learn more about it. They're happy to help and share. You know, I had actually a good friend of mine, Rado, and he was the one that actually helped me out in the whole journey, because I didn't know how to charge, I didn't know how to buy adapters and, you know, all that sort of things. But now I actually, you know, do travel. I'll be driving from Melbourne up to Brisbane next month, so that will be exciting. Yeah.
Did you buy a 3?
No, I didn't buy a 3. I actually ended up buying a second-hand X, because what's happening now is the second-hand market is actually getting a lot cheaper. The second-hand S is actually probably below 100 grand, and the X is around 100 grand, 110. I've seen one in Brisbane, South Brisbane here, because a lot of people don't like the bigger size and they want to downsize, and they just, so it's a good time to actually get a second-hand. Yeah. I mean, people used to pay nearly $200,000 for X, and they're selling it at 135, 130,000. You know, it's such a big, you know, it's only a year old. I couldn't work that out, you know. And the S as well, you know, like prices have come down. A year and a half ago until now, there's probably a drop of 20,000. You know, Elon just keep dropping the prices. So, and then as the battery prices come down, he'll just keep dropping prices. So I don't mind to be an early adopter. I know we do pay more, but we got to enjoy the use of it for the last few years. But we know that even if you buy a Model 3 now, it's going to go cheaper. You know, in a year or two, you can get second-hand one, and that's, you know, if you that's a good way to buy. I tend to buy my car second-hand or demo. I don't actually buy it new. Yeah. And I started with Prius probably 16 years ago now. Yeah. So my whole family drive Prius. And I'm a bit disappointed Toyota is not going fully electric, you know, with the plug-in version. So we go from Toyota to Tesla. It's still T, but
The thing though is, even though the price of the cars is coming down, the early adopters might have paid a higher price, but they've been saving money.
Oh
all that
yeah,
time,
definitely,
you know.
definitely.
So if you look at it in perspective, you may say, well, okay, the price has come down, but in the overall scheme of things, you know, they've saved that much money that they were still better off having bought, you know, 5 years ago. So I hear this argument all the time. I'll wait until the price comes down. Every week you wait, you lose $100 in fuel. You know?
But what's interesting for me is because I do 35,000 a year. I worked out my saving for servicing and fuel is about over 6,000 a year. So over 10 years is 60,000. So that will pay for the car.
Yeah.
And I've actually, you know, like we go to Supercharger. It's a great meeting place. Every time you go to Supercharger, you meet other owners. And there's a gentleman called Mason. He actually used his car for taxi. And he does something like 120,000 He's actually saved quite a lot in the few years that he's been driving, because he goes and charge free, you know. You're not supposed to, but he charges.
He gets to depreciate the car as a
Yeah. It's incredible. I mean, and the battery management of those cars are quite good as well, because there are people who have driven it for 700,000 The degradation of the battery is less than 10%. It's quite incredible.
That's in the bigger packs. The bigger the pack, the less stress you put on the batteries, the longer they're likely to last. Yeah, I've seen that before too.
Yeah. Because they're liquid cool, and the battery is actually controlled. It actually has an onboard computer to control the charging rates, so it doesn't stress the battery out. Yeah. Battery management in Tesla is excellent. Yeah.
700,000
Yeah. Yeah, less than 10%. Less than 10%. It's quite amazing. Yeah, and these are people who are using it for taxi, you know, like limousine taxis. And there's a company in US. The saving, just the fuel saving and servicing, the servicing and the fuel saving has already. They actually save 75,000 US, which is the cost of a Model S in US. So they've actually paid for the car. In the savings, yeah. So
Any questions?
Sorry, Graham.
I was going to make a point about early adopters too. What are early adopters? I mean, it's a bit like the computer days, isn't it, where you pay a portion for a 286 or a 486. Early adopters, I'd just like to acknowledge early adopters because you're actually paying up front. The fact that people buy up front early drives the downward pricing.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
And you know, everybody here is early adopter in your own way.
Yes.
I think I was one of the very early adopters. Me and Jeff.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know about Tesla, when they actually brought out the first model, that's the Roadster, people were actually paying $50,000 deposit. There are people in Australia paying $50,000 deposit for a car that they don't even know what it looked like. You know, it's quite incredible to have so much faith in the company. And because of the early adopter, that actually got them enough money to then develop the sedan version, the Model S. Yeah. And even then, it was, quite. Every model was. It's like if they don't sell enough, they could go broke. You know, it was that sort of moment. You know, the Model X as well. And even the Model 3. You know, if they didn't sell enough, they could go broke. And the thing that I like about Elon is he liked to obviously transition the whole world into in more sustainable energy and transport. So his patent is open for everyone to use, and you don't find company doing that. Anyone can use his patent to, and he say, if his company goes broke, I mean, like when he started this car company, it was in the worst time as well, in the recession, the depression or whatever, and he expected the chance of success to be quite low, but he didn't mind because if he failed, if it inspired other car company to go electric, he would have succeeded. It was quite interesting. He rather fail to see there's a transition to electric car. Good on him. He's doing well now. Yeah, and every market that Model 3 is going into, it's now the #1 best-selling car. In US, for example, the Model 3 last year was the top-selling car by revenue, but not by numbers, by revenue of all the sedan in US, and by number it's number 4 in US. After Honda Civic, Corolla, and something else. Yeah, it's number 4 by numbers, but by turnover, it's actually #1. And obviously in European country, UK, the top EV now. Yeah, and that's probably going to be happening in Australia, based on the numbers that's coming in. Yeah, so it's exciting time. Yeah. Yes.
Any other questions? No? All right, well, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I'll get John up shortly, but just quickly, I wanted to do a round robin tonight about people that are in builds and so on, and there's obviously not a lot been happening in the last couple of months, so I asked a few of the people that are building conversions at the moment what they're up to, and they're all being lazy. But anyway, so have I. I'm back in my workshop, have been now for 6 or 8 weeks. It's all beautiful. Starting to get back to the first week I was in there, I sold out every electric car kit I had, the whole lot gone. So I've had to put in a big order for some more stuff. The current crop of vehicles are being converted as a Mini Moke, a Model T Ford. Just finished, the guy we sent all the stuff to for a combi van has finished that, and he's gone from about a 40 horsepower DAC to about 160 horsepower electric, so he's still coming to grips with not hurting himself. The other cars we're doing at the moment, and a Daihatsu Pisa or something up at Bundaberg. So that cleaned me out of motors. So I've got more on order because I need to take some to the down to the expo in Sydney, because we'll be having a stall there. In the meantime, I'm working on this AEVA. Some of the members might remember we went and put that battery pack in there, and while they all look the same, one plug was different by 2 wires, and it turns out that was pretty important. So I thought, hang on, I'll go back to the car that I got the battery out of, and I'll take that bit of wiring with it. And all the plugs went in perfectly on the battery. The other end were all different, the whole lot. So we went, that's not going to work. And then Hugh's not here tonight, is he? No. Hugh had his battery pack and his IMEV replaced. And I sort of sweet talked him into donating his old battery pack. Guess what? Right place. So next couple of weeks that's going to go in. The whole process is to firstly get this IMEV back on the road and running as an IMEV. And then take that battery pack back out, take the individual cells out, see what compatible chemistry we can get to replace it, because the energy density on the newer batteries is so much superior. We're going to be taking something like a 40 amp hour cell out and putting a 70 odd amp hour cell back in, and therefore we're going to bring up the range of the IMEV maybe 60% or something like that. That's our expectations. And so our hope is that someone who's got an IMEV and the battery's expired, well, you bring the car to us, we open up the battery pack, chuck out those cells, the owner can sell them to somebody for off-grid power, whatever, to recoup some of the investment, and we reinstall brand new cells. So you bring the car back to, if you've ever seen the second-hand IMEV, people treasure them, they're like pristine. So they're in such good condition, the people that own them look after them. Not like Commodore owners or Falcon owners. Yeah. So anyway, so So yeah, so that's what I'm working on at the moment. There are other projects we're looking at, but seeing as I haven't started them, I think I'll wait until I start the other projects we want to work on. Simone's been busy selling the Bazuma range of push bikes and scooters. She wanted to get into selling e-bikes and so on, and we looked at importing, you know, $100,000 worth of bikes. Is just ridiculous. You know, it worked out better for us that we could sell what we think is a good quality product, you know, of somebody else's, and just on sell. It would be a retail thing for that. I've done a lot of work on Forums scooters lately. I'm actually authorised repair agent for them now, and again, when they build up a bit more stock, we'll be getting one in as a consignment stock to have at the shop. If you've ever, you know, scooters are the sort of thing is like, you never tell your mates you rode one, but when you ride one, you have a good time. They're just an electric scooter is just such a fun thing to ride, you know. So yeah, so that's what we're doing coming up shortly. So our main focus now is to do the replacement batteries in the IMES and try to get something happening there and keeping them on the road longer. And I figure if we put a new battery pack in, they've been around for 10 years now, that'll take it out to a 20-year-old car, hopefully with a bigger range than it had before. So there's a little bit of software trickery we've got to do, you know. So that's us at this point in time until we get some more stock in. There's one other car coming in shortly. The worst car in the world for a conversion, a Toyota Land Cruiser. And he wants 350k range. But I'm really lucky because this guy's got deep pockets. So we can do that, it's no problem at all. Yeah. So and that's really about it for us. I don't know, Brendan's still working on his RX-8 and still working on repairing his Nissan Tigo. Yes, sir.
I'll just have a quick question.
Yep.
I've got a nice Asio automatic, and I've been advised that the only way to convert it is to buy a gearbox.
That's not really correct, but it is cheaper because with an automatic you need to have, when your engine idles, it drives the oil pump inside the automatic, which gives it the oil pressure. The oil pressure is what you need to operate the hydraulic solenoids to operate. If you were to just sort of put it in gear and then spin the thing, you'd get a big shunt. Oil pressure would come in, and the thing would just give you whiplash taking off. So and I've done this with another client, we put a separate oil pump on there and fed the oil externally and got rid of the torque converter altogether. That seems to work well. I wanted to see him run for a year or two before he sort of committed to doing that sort of thing, but I can't see any reason why that couldn't be done again. It does add probably $500-600 to the price of the conversion. I'm not sure, depending on the car, I'm not sure how the cars, some of them have an electronics box that operates the automatic transmission. That may be problematic, I don't know. You wouldn't know until you try. Suzuki's, the late model ones, they have a throttle position switch. That's one of the things they use to talk to the computer that drives the automatic transmission. So old school was a kick down cable, they now use electronics on it. So again, it'd be a try and see and solve any issues that you might come across, because I can't think of
Sorry, you're talking too fast.
Yep. Automatic transmissions, they work on hydraulic oil pressure.
But if I throw the automatic transmission away,
then you use a manual. Yep.
but if I throw the manual away,
Then you go direct drive, you need a bigger motor. So to have a direct drive, you need to have more power. The motor has to be far more powerful than a motor you might use with a gearbox. That's the reason people use gearboxes. Plus, if it's a front wheel drive, you might want to retain the gearbox. It might be an easier way to be able to get the drive to the both front wheels.
you can do the motor with a reduction box.
You can, yeah. Yep.
I can do that.
Yeah, they still a gearbox.
So that's
But yeah,
So if it's front wheel drive, the gearbox and the diff are in the same box,
yeah.
the same case. So you can't actually separate it and then just put another motor. If it was a rear-wheel drive, then your diff and your gearbox are separate. So you can do that.
So, what,
Yeah, but the thing is that you still need to have, you know, the case that holds the diff is the same case that holds the transmission. So you can't actually drive it without having the transmission in there unless you go and spend a lot of time and effort making another gearbox, and that's just going to cost you more than getting another manual.
You've already got a gearbox there, why not just use what's already there rather than reinvent the wheel? There was a project we did up at Magnetic Island for the hire cars, and basically because the electric motors run out to 6,000 RPM, basically put it in third gear, drove a screw through the selector rod so it couldn't move, threw the gear lever away, and they just did an electric switch for forward and reverse. Just kept it so simple. It was still like Francesca said, to get the power of the electric motor to two wheels, you need that differential, and with a front wheel drive, that differential is part of the gearbox. Just might as well use the gearbox. So, there are, to complicate it, there are companies that actually make an electric motor with a differential attached that you can put CV shafts into. I priced them, it's like twice the price of, people doing conversions have always got a budget in mind, and it's not a high one. It's always a low budget, you know, and so I probably lead people to this line of thought that rather than spend money on motors and all the whiz-bang stuff, keep it simple on that level and spend the leftover money on more batteries, because that's going to make the bigger difference, is the range and the battery pack size. So spend big on the batteries, try to reduce your costs, and to do that use a gearbox, and you can change gears with a tiny motor. You know, Kevin and my Suzuki's, they're 8 kilowatt motors. People laugh at you when you say it's an 8 kilowatt motor, you know, well, it's a big joke, but you still do 100 kilometres an hour on the highway. What more do you want, you know? Yep.
I've priced the little 4-volt cells, 59.
Yep.
I can get on the dollar or something if I buy 200.
Yeah.
Is it worth buying volt?
There's a mate of mine that runs a site called DIY Power Walls, and they actually scavenge them out of warranty batteries for laptops or drills or whatever. They're called an 18650 cell, which I think means it's 18 millimetres diameter and 65 millimetre long. They're the base, that's what they had in Teslas, but you get different qualities. So I did this, I got onto the cheapy cells in China, got them, they were 3,000 milliamps and you know, all this sort of stuff, and the brand name was Firepower. Why didn't I pick up on that? But anyway, so we brought them back, brought the charger that they recommend that they sell for them, and we got them tested at more like 900 milliamps. So if I was trying to make it, say, a 20 kilowatt pack of batteries, and I went with the 3,000 milliamp as I'd end up with a 5 kilowatt pack, you know. So if you buy them, I suggest you get one and talk to somebody in the group if you don't know how to do a capacity test on it, and test it. And they'll explain to you how you can test it and see what capacity it actually has. We bring in cells like bigger prismatics for the car conversions, and we actually get them in, and the first thing we do is get a sample in. We shoot it straight over to Greg MacDonald. He runs a company called Lithium Battery Systems. He sometimes comes to the meetings, and he just does a full test on it. And they've got to come up at the stated capacity or better. If they're under, then you're already lying to your clients, you know. Yeah. But if you get some, just get one, get it and get it tested. You never know, it might be good, you know. So yeah, sorry. Over there, yep, you.
Yeah, it's to do with registration. As the AEV Association ever thought of trying to control the price of registrations on EVs nationally? Because I hear it's very cheap in some states and quite expensive in other states.
So this branch, we met with, I think his name was Lucas at the time, Transport Minister, and what used to happen in the past was they used to have like I guess like the Parliament would go, like Queensland government would go somewhere as a group of MPs, like a large group, and people could just come to these meetings and talk to them, you know, to their face. So we went, I think it was Vicky Darling and Lucas, I can't remember his first name. So we actually cornered them at one of these public meetings, you know, and had a good long chat to them. Vicky Darling had something to do with the Environment Ministry, and she was all for EVs and all this sort of stuff. Lucas said, we said, oh, how about, you know, a big carrot, cheaper registration, blah, 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 you know. And he said the Queensland government's not in the business of giving away registration money, you know. That's that, not interested, you know. So, and it really hasn't changed much, you know. The saving grace for us, for Kevin and I and all the guys that are converted, well, all those people with electric vehicles, that electric car is considered one rotor or two rotor. Tesla might have two rotors. Lawrence, you might be able to answer this because it's an interesting question. If you've got two rotors, like a dual motor, is the registration dearer than one with a single motor? Well, they call it one rotor, an electric motor, but you've got two in some of those Teslas. You've got a front one and a rear one. But a single rotor is the same rego as a three-cylinder petrol engine. That's
some people think four motors in, so probably like a V8 old, that'd be nearer than a four-cylinder car. The government is going to be missing out a lot of taxes for our fuels, and they're likely to say, well, it's going to cost you $2,000 a year to register an EV. You won't be able to do anything about it. Yeah,
but the counter-argument that the Australian Electric Vehicle Association would throw back is that, but because we're not polluting the atmosphere, we're reducing health issues, we're saving you money on pollution-related health issues, you know. So in the long run, we're actually saving government expense.
So the association is looking at this.
Oh, definitely. There's been lots of, over the years, there's been lots of argy-bargy between our association.
So I'm told Victoria's only $100 a year. I'm told whether that's true.
I don't think that's true.
I register my vehicles in Victoria because they're quarter of the price of here with my caravans and motorhomes and things like that.
How do you do that?
Easy. Queensland, since the Labor government got in, doubled things.
Yeah.
The exact same vehicles. So that's was the question around
that
way. You know, if that's true that it's $100 a year to register an EV, that's where my car will go.
Yeah, but what about your third party? Is that on top of that?
It's quite legal, I know how to do it.
Yeah, okay. Well, we need to get you up the front here, and I'll be sitting there taking notes because that sounds great. I do know South Australia was apparently the cheapest ever. I don't know if it still is, but
Don't go to New South Wales.
Yeah.
In the UK, there's no rego for electric vehicle.
No? Yeah.
Consistent charge.
Yeah. So look, you know, I don't know if there's enough interest in this group of people here. I'm more than happy to support the concept of putting together a little steering committee to go along. I mean, we're already sitting on the EV Council. We got invited to sit on that. That's the Queensland Government EV Council. They meet at this stage, looks like once a year, but
maybe twice.
Maybe twice if we're lucky, yeah. And so their whole reason for being is to steer the Queensland government in the right direction, which probably needs a big sledgehammer. But anyway, it's the nature of the beast. That's exactly how it is with politics, you know. I went through all this, and Gary and I, and it's been an eye-opener, that expo, because you have a politician come up and put their arm around you, get the photo opportunity, the minute that camera flash stops, off they're off. You know, and that's how they are, you know, that's the nature of the beast, you know. What I did learn is, if you want something done, don't talk to MP, you go behind him and you talk to the department people, the people in main roads, people in transport, and you talk to them. They'll all say, no, we can't do that, can't do that, but you know what? Eventually it happens, and it happens there. It doesn't happen at the party level, you know. So, and politicians, you know, like I said, we spoke to that Lucas fellow who was, the Transport Department Minister at the time, and you know, it was just a flat no. he wasn't going to talk to anybody about it. He was going to discuss anything. So, but if we want to set up a little committee to talk to the government departments, I'm happy to support it 100%. But you guys got to get together and have a chat. I see you nodding. It sounds like you're in charge. Yeah, I think you've had a bit of experience, but anyway. Okay. I think we've lost the Adani cause, but so not over till the. Okay. Well, let's watch that spot. I mean, yeah. I don't think. Yeah. Anyway, any other questions on that? No? Alright, okay. Well, we got, because we're getting a little late, I'm getting the wind-up signal from up the back there. John, would you like to come and have a quick talk about your thing? And don't forget, put the money in the tin tonight. And if you want shirts, if you want to if you're not on the email group, see Simone and give us your email address, we'll get you on the email group. Thanks, John.
I think my voice is probably loud enough. I'll try to go without it. So I know the most interesting part of the night's when everyone gets to chat to everyone else, so I'll just keep it brief. But basically, for those of you who do not know, I'm not sure there's many of you because I've basically spammed for about 2 months now about the EV cruise that we're doing from Townsville, so you're probably sick to death of hearing about it. But Turnbull. Turnbull Shopping Centre, starting at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. We're just going to meet there and probably leave at 10 o'clock, drive out to Mount Nebo. For those that have longer range of cars, we're just going to probably take a few photos out there. For those that have shorter range cars, I've got an alternate route that I planned for you that you drive with us for a while and then turn off at the Gap and go over to Sanford and grab a coffee there while the longer range meet up with the shorter range, get some more photos there and then come back to Turnbull. So if anyone at all doesn't know about it and is interested, come and see me afterwards, or you can, and I'll give you my details or forward you to the YouTube link. Yes, Simone?
I will have probably three seats in my Nissan Leaf that I'm getting tomorrow from the import centre, so I can take some people with me.
I guess I should say there's about at least 15 EVs coming. There's about probably 15 people that are going to decide on the morning, so potentially 20. So yeah, looking forward to that. There's going to be an I-Pace, there's going to be quite a few Konas, Ioniqs, a couple of Teslas, and a couple of Leafs, and a few different modified vehicles. So yeah. Any questions while I'm up here? No? Okay. Can I just make one point back to the registration? I had a friend who works for the government in the registration department, and I asked on behalf of everyone about what that we could do for registration, and he said that, do I know how registration is actually charged? So for a 4-cylinder, you're looking at $750. Well, $340 of that is actually third-party insurance, and then there's a small portion for road development, like road improvement. So really, if they were going to wipe out any part of the tax or the registration itself, you'd be looking at maybe $300, but I don't think they'd completely remove it at all, completely. So, and why would they? Like, just as an incentive? You know, I think if we're going to, yeah, well, it's only a one. You're only registering a 1-cylinder at the moment, which is the cheapest cheapest registration that you can get. Yeah, it's not even a cylinder. So when I told the story a few months ago that I went to register mine and they said how many cylinders, and I said 0, and they said, well, we don't have that. You have to register it as a 1-cylinder. Have to insure it, yeah, register it as 1-cylinder. Because I was asking for a quote about how much mine was going to be, so I wanted to know what the figure was beforehand. So it should only be a one cylinder, probably no matter what electric vehicle you have, whether it's 2 rotors, 4 rotors or whatever. So I think just seeing what people are discussing online about the future, I think they might want to develop a road usage tax, and everyone just goes onto that road usage tax. Yeah, there's a couple of different models, so I'm sure they'll get us one way or the other. So, all right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.